Running out of fuel is frustrating and usually pretty embarrassing, but it also can be bad for your car. Despite our best efforts, it does happen, so it's worth knowing what happens when you run your tank dry. Technicians advise that you should always keep your gas tank at least a quarter full. Obviously, doing so will keep you from getting into a risky situation where you're low on gas and too far from a gas station to fill up. But there are other, less obvious reasons to keep a little gas in your tank. Driving on an empty tank, or even one that's getting close to empty, can cause damage to your vehicle in a number of ways. When the tank's left to run completely empty, the engine will start to draw in air along with the last remains of fuel. This air could stop the engine from starting again as it throws the fuel-air mix needed for combustion way off balance. For this reason, it's never good to let your car run totally dry, even if you know there's a fuel station close by or you have a can of spare fuel in the trunk. It puts the engine under a lot of unnecessary stress and could mean struggling to get the engine going even after topping your car up, thanks to a buildup of air in the fuel tank and the combustion chamber. You also could get debris stuck on your fuel pump by running your tank too low. That's because any debris that finds its way into the gas tank settles at the bottom, and they tend to stay there until your car is trying to grab every last bit of fuel that it can. When the fuel pump sucks up the last of your gas, any debris in your tank will go along with it, and the debris can get stuck in your pump or in your fuel filter. If debris from the fuel tank is drawn into the fuel lines and directed toward the engine, well, it could lead to blockages in the filters, which prevents the engine from performing at its best or even not starting at all. The sediment can be difficult to remove once it's lodged in the fuel filter. If you own a diesel car, you've probably heard about the dangers and potential cost caused by running out of fuel. That's because the powerful fuel injectors in diesel engines start pulling in air once there's no more fuel in the tank, and this can have a devastating effect on different components within the fuel system. When the fuel system becomes completely clogged with air, it damages the injectors and filters and can make it incredibly difficult to get the engine turning over again. Unlike with a gasoline engine, which will usually turn over after refueling, getting a diesel running again may need a professional with the right tools. For a diesel engine to start again after running empty, it's often the case that air needs to be bled from the fuel system. This can be an expensive and time-consuming process that should be left up to the professionals, as they'll need to remove the filters, clean out all the fuel lines, and possibly replace the injectors and the pump. But getting nasty sediment stuck in your fuel pump isn't the only way that you could be damaging it. In most cars, the fuel pump is located in the gas tank, and they rely on a steady supply of fuel for lubrication and cooling the pump. If you're constantly running your gas tank dry, the fuel pump could be overheating, which will cause it to wear out prematurely.